Alright, so we got a minor setback I thought we'd fill you guys in on. You saw us dragging my car into the garage. We had this car has 0 power, so we got to work on trying to get power to that car. However, in the process, we're also going to take Adam's and put it out into storage. Well, in case you can't see, Adam's doing a little bit more work to her. What happened to us, Adam?
Well, you can see here, our ball joint was bent. And moving it around just enough was enough to kink it and popped it right out of the bottom. So then, if you look at that side, we blew the axle.
Yeah, so all we were going to try to do is put this thing on the trailer. We did not realize just how bad that control arm was kinked down on the bottom, but it had spit that ball joint right out. And then we tried to slowly ease it back into the garage, and she blew the tire, or spit the axle out. So we're going to work on getting all that pulled apart, figure out what to do on a ball joint. I know guys do modified ball joints, so we might look at doing something like that. I'm not 100% sure yet. Ball joints are cheap enough, we might just go and buy one and get it put in there so that this thing's done right. I'm going to try to just heat up this control arm and bend it. If we do have to replace it, we'll deal with it. We got a bunch of other stuff that we need to get working on, but we're doing what we can for now. So, back over onto the car that I ran. So, I think we talked about, typically, I ground my battery to the strut tower. This is an area that I've always liked. I don't like running it all the way to your motor. Motor starts flopping around and all that stuff. However, as you can see right here, typically, we grind the paint off of this so we get a decent connection. Well, this one was not ground down, so it looked like this one, just all paint around it, not down to the bare metal. And this nut had kind of loosened itself up. So now we have battery hooked back up. I can grab my switch, turn our fuel pump on. She fires right up. She sounds good. She's healthy. Fluids all look good. So now we've decided it is worth it to start the process. We will get this strut pulled off. You can see in there now, yeah, there's the stub that used to be the top of that strut. So we have to do that, and we'll have to redo the hub back here just like we did on Adam's car. Also, because Adam's car having the spit out ball joint wasn't bad enough, you can see this line of fluid. That's from where we were driving the car around. A little bucket there. And you can see probably a little bit of a puddle starting to form back there. Right where the lines go into the tranny, Adam has a pretty serious leak, so we're going to have to figure something out for that too. We're going to work on trying to get this ball joint put back together first, and then we'll go from there. So, a little bit more progress being done. Unfortunately, this car is not leaving the garage yet. Adam wants to get his Merc in here for the team show, but for now, the One Goose car is going to continue to visit us. Alright, back in the shop working on the cars that we ran at the Roberts Derby, the Regal and the Lumina. Adam working on his One Goose car. I suppose from here on out they'll probably all be One Goose cars, but you guys know which ones we're talking about. So, Adam, what do we decide for the fix on your broken ball joint?
New ball joints, Goose style.
It's a little more serious. So we did a little bit of research, and never actually been able to find pictures as far as what's going on here, but what Adam's doing that you probably can't see in there. Nah, can't really see it. But he's taking one of those bolts. She's going up through the bottom. We just blew a hole in the bottom of the strut where the ball joint used to be. And he's going to get that bolted all down tight. So, well, not tight. We got to obviously leave it the ability to have some play so that it'll still turn. But making some progress there. This one's hopefully getting closer to being back to ready, since it was already back ready once and decided that it wasn't going to be ready. Me, I just got the caliper taken off of mine. I could not get that tie rod end to come off of there, and she's crooked as hell anyway, so I just cut it. You can see the other end up in there. I'll get a new tie rod end and I'll cut my own length of all thread, and we'll just sleeve it and cut it to the length we need and weld all that stuff back together. So I'll show you the finished product once we have that done. So we just went and got a new hex head, or a new Torx head, because Adam done broke it trying to take his apart. So I'm going to get to work on trying to pop off the rest of the brakes here, and then I'll get my lower ball joint pulled and we'll get this thing out of here. Alright guys, we are calling her another night here at the One Goose Garage, mainly because we are waiting on some parts. As you saw on Adam's, we had to replace a rear hub. We went a little bit more in detail on his. We are doing the exact same on mine. So I just got done pulling apart that hub on the back. She's sitting down there. Everything back there is pretty bent, but we'll wait until we get the new rear hub. That one I ordered online. She should be here the next couple days. We'll get that put back on. If we come up to the front here, I got my old strut off. Everything's just kind of laying in here. The new strut is laying here. However, I did not get a new hub with my strut. That wasn't clear enough. I could have paid the extra 20 bucks and just had them leave it on. But that's alright. I ordered one. I thought I could have got this one off, but yeah, those bolts are pretty rusty. Could you try? Sure, maybe. The hub itself is all in really rough shape, so I'm just gonna get you can get a brand new one for $22 on eBay. So you know what? I'll just get that shipped here. A couple days ain't gonna kill me. We'll get that thrown into that spot there and get this strut back in there. Once this strut is on here and that hub is replaced back there, I'll probably do a little bit of work up here just with some plating and patches and stuff where everything bent. But other than that, this one's going to be pretty much ready to go. Over here on Adam's, we bolted that ball joint in. Everything works great as far as where we put it all together. However, here's a small lesson. Before you put a ton of work into fixing something. Now, we have done a ball joint, fixed the tie rod, replaced a rear hub that was broken on his. We also knew that we had a tranny leak, and we thought that it was, we had rolled around under there a little bit, we thought it was leaking from the lines going into the tranny. Figured worst case scenario, a little bit of stop leak, maybe a rubber hose with some good clamps or whatever the case may be would find a way to get those lines to stop leaking. Well, it turns out, and I'm going to show you on my car, if we can see it, right back in there, this area here, where the cup goes into, is actually cracked off of the transmission on Adam's car. Now it's not pouring out a ton of fluid, but she's definitely cracked. So we're gonna see what our options are there. It does just unbolt from the housing, so honestly guys, I don't know a ton about trannies, so we're going to get that part figured out. We'll get some help and see exactly what our options are, because if I look at it on my car, it looks like it'd be pretty easy to just pop the bolts off there and pull that piece out and replace it, but obviously I don't know what goes on behind that thing. So we're going to do a little bit more research on that, see if that's something that can be fixed. If not, we do have a couple other creative, maybe a little bit strange, odd, crazy ideas. One way or the other, that car is going to run again. We've put too much work into it not to, so she's definitely going to see the track one more time. So we're going to call her a day for now, wait for some parts to get here, and we will be back with another update soon here from the Goose Garage. As always, get goosed.